Hi, Claire.
Hi, Emma.
I'm on fire. Fireside.
That's a nice little collection you've got there.
So as we were going through the class, you commented on my slippers, specifically these ones that I was wearing on my feet, and you called them elf slippers.
Yes.
And,
you look like a little Keebler elf in them.
Thanks. A little leprechaun. So then this led us to the conversation of like, it's very important to have a range of slippers.
Let's see them.
Day to day, like for like a lightweight foot situation. Could be worn barefoot with socks, like definitely the most like flexible type of slipper. Okay. From Japan, a Ryokan that we went to.
Those are the faves.
Faves, just the ones I wear the most.
Okay.
Then we have like a dense, warm slipper that can be worn with socks during the winter from my mother-in-law. Fantastic brand. Highly recommend.
What's the brand?
I actually can't remember. I have to look. But anyway.
Okay.
I'll write it
Terrible
in the
influencer. Okay.
Third, sorry, but the slides. Mandatory, great for the summer with either like a sock or barefoot. But like this is like if I'm feeling like the floor needs to be vacuumed, I'll be wearing a slide. You know?
Those are Claire actually convinced me to buy those exact slides, and they're excellent. Okay. All right, we're going to get started. So come onto hands and knees. We're going to start with a cat-cow. Okay, so hands below shoulders, knees below hips. We're doing a 45-min full bod today. Inhale as you open up through the chest, and then big exhale as you push the ground away from you. Good. All right. So as you do this cat-cow, I want you to make this an active motion. So especially as you're exhaling and rounding through the spine and pushing the ground away from you, feel how you're drawing your belly button up towards your spine, hugging your organs in. You're going to feel your low abdominals engage. Good. All right, keep going. Good, big exhale.
Really feel my abs engage when I round.
Yeah.
And really think about squeezing.
Yeah.
Those bad boys.
You're also like tucking your pelvis in. Yeah, good. And as you're doing this, be mindful of trying to keep your hips stacked directly above your knees and your shoulders above your wrists. If you're not kind of wobbling back and forth and keeping both parts stacked, you're gonna feel more core engagement that way. Good. Okay, last one. Big exhale. Good. And then meet me in neutral. So find the position between those 2 points. Good. And you're pushing the ground away from you to spread your shoulder blades apart. We're going to start with a bird dog. So I want you to extend your right arm and left leg long in line with the body. Take it nice and slow, straighten both limbs, and then lower back down to the ground. And then we're going to switch sides. Okay, so starting with something a little bit more stable. Good.
Stable, she says.
Well, okay, maybe
you
not stable.
2 of my limbs.
Maybe not stable, but we're not staying on one side over and over again. Okay, good. So as we're removing the limbs, you're trying to keep your body centered. So 50% of your weight is in the supporting hand, 50% of your weight is in the supporting knee, and you're trying to do the same thing you were doing earlier, where you keep your hips stacked above your supporting knee and your shoulder above the supporting wrist. That's what's going to make it more challenging. Good. Okay, and notice the lower half of Claire's body as she's extending one leg long. You're not opening up the hip. So for example, as Claire lifts this right leg long behind her, she's keeping the hips squared. She's not letting her right hip lift up towards the ceiling. Good? Okay, we're gonna do a few more. Good. You wanna keep that tight corset muscle engaged. That's what's gonna help keep you stable.
I also find that when I do that, it helps me like not arch through my back, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
A lot of people do.
Yeah, we don't want that. That's some Instagram Pilates.
Yeah. Dolphin vibes.
Yes. Good. All right. We're going to do one more each side. Good. Yeah, we don't want arching of the low back. The lift of the leg comes from the glute. Okay. Good. And then I want you to meet me with your right arm, left leg extended. And hold. Okay. Your right hand is going to twist underneath the body and tap your left hip. Your hips are staying squared to the ground. And then extend the arm long overhead. Good. If it's already too much and you feel too unstable, just bring the left toes to tap down to the ground while you keep your hips in line with each other. Good.
Just going to demo that, but
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to lifted.
The lifted leg is a challenge, and it's the same thing as what I was talking about earlier. Even though your upper body is twisting to the left, you don't want your hip to open to the left.
Whew.
Good. Okay. This is also
Oh
a
my God,
big challenge for the supporting shoulder.
I was going to say left shoulder.
Good. Try to keep that back leg super straight. No bending of the knee. Yeah, there you go.
Whew.
Good. Last one. And stretch the arm forward and hold. We're going to draw your elbow to your knee as you round through the spine like you were doing in that cat position. Good. As you exhale, find roundness through the spine and then stretch arm and leg back long. Good. We're only going to do 8 of these and then we're going to be off the shoulder.
Yeah, I'm kind of dying in my left shoulder and right glute.
7. Nice job. So try to find that same roundness through the spine that you were finding earlier in your cat position when you had more support with all 4 limbs. Good. Oh. Nice. Nice job. Good. As you extend, it's the same thing as before. No arching through the low back. So you want to meet me in a neutral spine, one long line from your leg all the way to your arm as you extend. Let's do 3 more.
Ugh, left shoulder, dude.
Almost done. Compression for 2.
Right glute also.
Keep breathing. Good. And don't let that right butt cheek fall behind the right knee. Yeah, good. Last one.
Ooh,
Extend.
losing my balance.
There you go. Extend. Good. And then lower arm and leg down. We're going to take a child's pose just to give you a break from the supporting shoulder. Let's take a wide knee child's pose. Good. You can roll out the wrists, especially on the left side if you need to. Okay. And then when you're ready, we're going to come back onto hands and knees, and we're going to do that on the other side. So back on hands and knees, you're going to start right away with your left arm, right leg extended. And if you tap the toes down on the other side, try to do the same thing. You're going to take your hand, tap it to the right hip, the outside of the hip. Good. And then extend it long. Good.
Oh my God, I'm really losing my balance today.
Good. You got to focus. Good. This is a tiny, tiny movement. It's pretty challenging. Good. Every time you're twisting underneath the body, you're trying not to sink the chest down to the ground. So you're still engaging through that right shoulder, keeping the shoulder spread apart, or the shoulder blade spread. Good.
Oh,
nice. Okay. We're going to do 4 more.
Right
Nice
shoulder.
job. Great job keeping
Right
the hips
glute.
square. This looks perfect.
Thank you very much.
For 3.
Oh,
Good. 2 more. Keep the core engaged. Good. You should be feeling your right glute quite a bit and your shoulder. Good. Last one. Hold arm and leg long. And hold. We're going to draw your elbow to your knee as you round through the spine. Good. So exhale on the way in. Good. And then you're going to straighten arm and leg. Meet me with a neutral spine. Good. Nice. So one long line from your hand to your foot. Good. Nice round. And then straighten. Good. Okay. So people try to get sneaky in this and get a little bit lazy, and they don't engage the shoulder, and they also let their butt, their supporting glute on the left side, fall backwards towards the foot or over to the left. So try to keep your body super stable and centered and keep engaging the supporting shoulder and the supporting glute.
oof.
Good. Let's do 3 more.
Back of right leg, because you already worked it.
Yeah.
Left side glute, right shoulder,
Full body.
abs.
We love a bird dog situation. Good. Last one. Straighten the arm and the leg. Good. And you can lower them down to the ground. Take a child's pose. Nice job.
Whew.
Okay, you can roll out your wrists if you need to. And then when you're ready, you're gonna come up to a kneeling squat. So knees below hips, okay? And you're starting with a tall spine, okay? And your hands are gonna be directly on your hips. All right, you're gonna send your butt back behind you as you hinge the upper body forward. So you're finding a crease at the hips and then come all the way back up to a tall spine. Good. Nice. So the hinge of the hips is super important. As you're coming all the way into your hinge, Claire's actually coming quite low because she knows how to do this very well. But you don't need to bring your chest as far forward as Claire if that doesn't feel comfortable for you. If you feel like you're rounding through your low back and kind of tucking the pelvis forward to get that deep, go a little bit less deep. The priority is keeping the neutral spine and keeping your pelvis untucked.
Whew.
Okay. Nice.
How many pairs of slippers do you have?
I have only 2. I have a slide and like a furry slipper, like an Ugg. But I feel like I need like a mid-range or like a mid-temp slipper.
Yeah, that sounds too hairy, like too sweaty.
Yeah. Slippers are very important in like Soviet culture. You must have house slippers. Mandatory.
Wait, I need to hear more.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Okay, we're gonna do 3 more. For 2, make sure you're keeping your core engaged through this. So at the bottom of this, you're not releasing through the core.
I'm going to put my hands on my tummy. That I feel like helps me
keep your core engaged.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, on this next one, come into your squat and hold your squat. Okay, and then you're actually gonna take your hands and bring your fists together and put some pressure. So I want you to really engage through the shoulders and the chest to keep some pressure on your fists. Okay, upper body is going to rotate towards the right. Tap your hands to your right hip. Good, and then come back to center. And then tap your hands to your left hip. Good. So the hands don't actually need to touch the hip. I want you to feel how belly button up is rotating you over to the right and then over to the left. Good.
Ooh, feel my obliques.
Yeah. If you need a break, if you feel like your low back is straining, you can always come out of this squat to give yourself a break, but really prioritize engaging through the core to help rotate you and protect the low back. Good.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I was twisting a bit too much. It was getting a bit into my back.
Yeah.
Whew.
Good. Okay. We're going to do 3 more. Good. For 2.
My glutes too.
Yeah. Make sure you're still kind of poking your butt back behind you, not letting the pelvis tuck. Last one, meet me centered, and then you're going to come out of your squat and your hands are going to come behind your head. Okay, we're going to go into a little side bend. So you're going to side bend up and over to the right. Okay, come back to center and then side bend up and over to the left. Good. Okay, so imagine you're side bending between 2 window panes or like your face and body is pressed directly up against a wall. So as you're side bending, you're not letting your butt fall back behind you. Whew. Good. And your hips aren't shifting. So notice how everything belly button down for Claire is staying stable. Good. Okay, we're gonna add on. Next time you side bend over to the right, you're gonna disconnect your right hand from your head, reach it down to the ground. Good. Bring the hand back behind the head, unside bend, and then we're gonna go over to the other side. Good. Okay, so when people do these side bends, they often tend to kind of like crimp through their side and just like fall down over to one side or another. You want to try to keep space between your rib and your hip on the side that you're bending towards. So you're thinking like you're going up and over something rather than down towards the ground.
Oh,
good. How you doing?
Feeling my obliques and my middle back, my QLs, which always fire up in this for me.
Yeah, that's normal as long as it's not like too uncomfortable or too painful. We're not going to be in here for long. We're going to do one more. Oh, good. And then you're going to side bend all the way over to the right. Plant your right hand down to the mat pretty far away from you so that it's in front of your shoulder, okay? And then you're going to extend your left leg long in line with the body, tap the toe to the ground. Okay, so your pelvis is pressed forward, so your whole body's in one flat line. You're going to lift the toe up off of the ground, lift it up almost to hip height, and then tap the toe back down to the ground. Okay, so make this small. Okay, and then notice in Claire's setup, her hand is facing away from the body. That's going to be more comfortable for the wrist. So if your hand is facing kind of in, make sure your fingers are faced away from the body. Good. Right away, you're going to start to feel, bottom glute that's pressing your pelvis forward and your top side glute. Good. All right, keep going. Take it nice and slow and make sure you're not externally rotating through that top leg. You're going to feel more front of the leg that way. Try to point your toes a little bit more down to the ground.
Whew.
Good. Okay, we're going to do two more and then we're going to add on. Reach that top arm up to the ceiling. Good. Last one.
Dude,
good.
My leg feels like 1,000,000 pounds.
Okay. As you lower the leg down to the ground, your arm is going to reach up overhead. Good. And then as you lift the leg up a few inches, reach the arm back up to the ceiling. Nice. Good. All right, we're going to keep going. Whew. We're just going to do a few of these and we're going to add one more little layer.
Oh my God.
Good.
Really hard to keep my pelvis pressed forward.
Yeah, you're going to feel a lot of bottom glute. Good. Let's do two.
Oh my God.
Good.
Bottom glute.
Keep breathing. Last one. Good. You're going to lower the leg down. Okay. Meet me with your hand up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to take a thread the needle. So you're going to thread your left arm underneath the body. Hips stay facing forward. It's just belly button up, rotating down to the ground. And then untwist, open the entire body back. Good.
Woo.
Nice. All right, keep
right
going.
Shoulder.
If you feel like you want more challenge, if you're feeling crazy, you can take that top leg and lift it up a few inches for a little bit more challenge for the side glute. Good, and it's going to add more load to the core.
Am I feeling crazy today?
I don't know. You tell me.
Let's do it.
Let's do 5 more. Good. If you do decide to do that, make sure that your top hip isn't falling forward. So it's not following along as you twist. 4. Good.
Oh my God. Bottom glute.
Keep breathing. Keep engaging the core for 3.
Oof.
Good. 2 more. Keep breathing. Almost done. Keep pressing the pelvis forward with your bottom glute. Last one. Good. You can lower the leg down. Nice job. Okay. Very quick break. And then we're going to come all the way onto your right forearm. So we're going to go into a side lying series on your right forearm. So I want your legs stacked on top of each other, knees bent slightly in front of your body. Okay. And then find a press out of your right forearm so you're engaging through the bottom shoulder. Okay, you're gonna lift both butt cheeks off of the ground, press your pelvis forward to come into one straight line. So you're coming into a modified side plank, and then lower the butt back down to the ground. So you're bringing your hips slightly back behind the shoulder again. Okay, keep going. Oof. Lift and lower.
I'm going to do the thing again where I'm going to hold my neck because I'm very tense today in my neck. I did not sleep well on my pillow.
Okay. Yeah. Another alternative, if holding your neck doesn't feel comfortable, you can also look down to the ground and kind of flop your head down. if this feels like too much neck tension. Okay, good. We're gonna do 4 more.
I always inch back in this.
Good. For 3.
Bottom glute, bottom shoulder, but I did that to myself.
For 2. Beautiful. And notice as you're lifting up into your side plank, you want both hips to remain stacked on top of each other. So you're not letting one hip rock forward and back. They're both moving as a unit. Good. Last one, hold the hips lifted and hold. Your top leg is going to extend and it's going to tap to the ground. Good. And then bring it back to where it came from. So bring it back so that your legs are stacked on top of each other and connect them, and then tap the toes to the ground. Ooh. Once again, if you're feeling like you want more challenge, rather than tapping the toe to the ground, you can keep the toes lifted. Good. What's more important here though is keeping a press out of the supporting shoulder, keeping a lift out of the right oblique so you're not sinking down to the mat. Good. And keep breathing. Good.
Oh my God. Bottom glute, bottom shoulder, bottom oblique.
We're going to do 4 more. Good. For 3. Keep breathing. Oof. Good. 2 more. We're going to do a little thread.
Hard.
Last one. Last variation here. Bring your legs to stacked on top of each other. You're going to reach your top arm up to the ceiling and hold. Okay. You're going to thread the left arm underneath the body and then unthread. Good. So same thing here as what we were doing earlier when we were on our hand. I want your hips to stay facing forward. Make sure you're really pressing through your bottom glute to keep the pelvis pressed forward. You want one straight line from your shoulder down to your knees. Good.
Oh my God.
Almost done. You're good. We're going to do 3 more.
Bottom glute, shoulder.
Good. For 2. I'm sorry to laugh at your pain. Good.
You're screaming.
Last one. And slowly lower down. Nice job. Oh. Okay, let's take a stretch for that bottom glute. Bring your right leg forward into a pigeon. So you're going to bring your right shin as close to parallel to the front of the mat as you can, stretch through the back leg, and then you can relax your body down to the ground. You should feel a big stretch through your right butt cheek. Back to what I was saying about Russian slippers or Soviet slippers. Every house has an assortment of slippers for all guests because it's just like not an option to have your guests be barefoot. And then oftentimes like my grandparents would arrive to my house with their own slippers. Like they travel with them.
That's another level. That's very much like Japanese culture, which is where I got my what you called elf slippers.
Okay, come out of your pigeon. We're gonna go into some roll downs. All right, I want your feet planted with your knees bent. And your feet are going to be slightly separated, so in line with your hips. Start with a tall spine, and you're actually going to take your hands and bring them to a prayer position. This is slightly more challenging. If it's already too much when you start doing this, bring your hands to reach forward. Okay, you're going to come into a halfway roll down. So you're going to tuck the pelvis, come into a halfway roll. Good. And then come all the way back up, rolling up 1 vertebrae at a time. Good. So on the way down, think about kind of pushing your heels away from your butt and really drawing your belly button to your spine. And then on the way up, think about digging your heels into the mat towards your glutes. That'll help you engage through the back of the legs a little bit more. It'll make it easier to come up into from the roll down.
Oof, I already feel my abs on the bottom.
Yeah, the hands to prayer is adding a little bit more load. So again, if you're feeling like this is too much and you feel unstable or you can't come out of your roll down, just bring your arms forward. Okay. We're going to do 3 more.
Oh my God.
Good. Nice tall spine at the top. Good. For 2.
Oh la 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 la.
Nice. Good. Last one, come into your halfway roll and hold. Okay, your hands are clasped together. You're gonna bring your hands over to your right hip, twist belly button up to the right. Good. Come back to center and then twist belly button up to the left. Good. If you're feeling your hip flexors, you can squeeze your inner thighs together. Good. Or if you have like a pillow or something, you can also push it underneath your low back. That's supportive for people too.
I'm going to squeeze my legs together.
Nice. Good. Try to stay nice and open through the chest. So even though the hands are together, you're trying not to hunch forward. Okay. Let's do 2 more.
Oh, my obliques.
Good. Keep breathing. Keep drawing belly button to spine. Last one. Good. Extend both arms forward. And then we're going to come into a full roll down. So from your halfway roll, roll all the way down, 1 vertebrae at a time. Extend your arms all the way overhead until your thumbs touch the floor. Okay. And then bring your arms back up towards the ceiling. You're going to tuck your chin and then roll 1 vertebrae at a time all the way back up, digging your heels towards your glutes on the way up, and then meet me with a tall spine. Good. All right, we're gonna do 2 more full roll downs and then we'll be done with the roll downs. Tuck the pelvis, roll 1 vertebrae at a time. Good. And then your arms are gonna extend long overhead. Good. And if this doesn't feel good, just keep going with the halfway roll downs. Good. Tuck the chin, come all the way up. Good. And then give me 1 more full roll down. Good. Beautiful. And come all the way back up.
It also helps me to really squeeze my thighs as I come up.
Yeah. And dig your heels towards your butt. Good.
Yep.
Nice job. Okay. Come into your kneeling squat position. We're going to start with your hands behind your head and we're going to go into those side bends again just to prep for our side bend all the way over. So you're going to side bend all the way to the left. Okay. Disconnect your left hand, reach it down to the ground. Bring it back behind your head and then side bend all the way up and over to the right. Good. Nice.
Is there a type of slipper like in Japan that's always like they never have a back? You know, it's like a slip-on.
Oh yeah. You mean
Same.
the ones that my family had?
Yeah, like in Soviet culture. Like, or is there
They
all
usually
slippers are
didn't
fine?
have backs, and you know, like the material of like boiled wool that like sauna hats are made of.
Yeah, like mine.
Yeah, sometimes they're like that too. I would always get scolded if I wasn't wearing like socks or slippers at home, that I would be sick.
Because your feet are like absorbing
Yes.
like weird diseases.
Yeah, or just like the cold makes you sick. Okay, you're gonna side bend all the way over to the left, and then you're gonna plant your left hand down to the ground, pretty far away from you so that your hand is beyond the shoulder, and then you're gonna extend your leg. Okay, your whole body is in one flat plane. You're gonna lift your right leg up a few inches, and then tap the leg back down. Good. All right. So you're pressing through your bottom glute to keep your pelvis pressed forward and in line with the body. So you're going to start to feel your left butt cheek pretty quickly. Whew. Good. And then same thing here. If you lift the leg with an external rotation, if your toes are kind of pointed up to the ceiling, you're going to feel more quad. If you turn the toes down towards the floor, you're going to feel more side glute.
Oh my
Good.
God.
Keep going. Good. Okay, we're going to add on in a second.
These are hard for me.
Good. Let's do 2 more. Good.
Oh my God.
Keep breathing. Last one. Okay, we're adding on. So you're going to reach your right arm up to the ceiling. Okay. Lift the leg up. And then as you lower the leg, your arm is going to reach up overhead. Good. And then reach the arm back up towards the ceiling as the leg lifts. Good. Great. Yeah, if you're feeling like your neck is icky like Claire today, you can turn your head down to the ground and relax it. Keep pressing out of that supporting hand though to engage the shoulder, and keep lifting up out of your left oblique. So we don't want any sinking down towards the ground. Good.
Bottom glute, bottom shoulder.
Let's do 3 more. Good. We just have our threads after this for 2, but remember you decided to add the extra challenge and lift your leg on the other side, so you have to do it on this side. Sorry.
Oh no.
Okay, last one. Okay, so for everyone else, you can tap your toe down to the ground. Claire, I think you started that way. And then take your right hand, you're gonna thread it underneath the body. Your hips stay facing forward. So find a twist, belly button up, and then open back up. Nice, good. All right, so your hips are staying facing forward like this. Good. And then again, if you want that extra challenge, lift your right leg up to hover a few inches and try to keep it hovered. You're gonna start to feel side glute on the right side. Good.
Why did I do that?
The challenge is not to let your right hip fall forward as you're rotating into your thread the needle. Good.
Oh my God.
Okay, we're gonna do 3 more. Good.
Oh my God.
For 2, we're almost done. We're almost out of this. Good. Last one, keep breathing, keep engaging the core. Open back up. Good, and then you can lower everything down to the ground.
Oh.
Nice job. Okay, take a quick child's pose if you need it. And then we are going to come down onto our left forearm. Okay, so hips are stacked on top of each other. Knees are bent slightly in front of the body. Okay, and then your right hand can come onto your hip. Find a big press out of your supporting forearm to engage through that bottom shoulder. And then you're gonna lift both hips off the ground, press the pelvis forward, and then lower both hips down to the ground.
I'm gonna do my neck cradling.
Oh yeah. Yeah, try to do whatever you did on the other side.
This is really hard on the shoulder though, but my neck is too icky today.
The neck cradling.
Yep.
Yeah, this is a challenging position. I've never
Yeah,
tried
that's
this
hard.
before. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, if you want more shoulder support, but your neck is feeling icky, as I keep repeating, you can kind of flop your neck down. But the goal is to strengthen your neck muscles. Which all of this does.
Oh.
Okay, we're gonna do 4 more. Good. For 3.
Oh my God.
Good.
Bottom glute, bottom shoulder, bottom oblique.
2 more. Beautiful. Good. Last one, hold the hips lifted and hold. You're gonna extend your right leg long, tap your right toes to the mat. Okay, one straight line from your toe to your shoulder, and then bring your leg back to where it came from. Good.
Oh my God.
So you want to keep that engagement through your bottom shoulder. So keep pressing out of your bottom shoulder. Keep engaging through that bottom oblique. Good.
Oof.
And find control as you extend through the leg and bend. Okay. Good. Meet me with both legs stacked on top of each other. You're going to reach your right arm up to the ceiling and then thread the needle. So if you need to adjust, you can come back onto your forearm and then thread the needle. Good. And then open back up. So try not to let the hips move. So hips are staying stacked. Keep pressing through the bottom butt cheek. Good. Little cameo by Doug. Okay. We're gonna do 3 more. Good.
Oof. Bottom glute, bottom shoulder.
For 2. Good.
Oh,
Keep pressing through the bottom glute. Keep engaging the core. Last one. Good. Open up and then lower the hips down. And then get a nice stretch. Okay, so you're gonna do the pigeon squat, pigeon stretch on the other side. So straighten through the right leg And then the closer to parallel to the short end of the mat you can get your shin, the deeper a stretch you're going to feel. Try to relax through the upper body as you do this. People tend to kind of like tense through the upper body.
I was literally just doing that.
Yeah. And also, people, when they do this, because it's such a deep stretch through the hip flexor, tend to grip through the hip. So try to really like press your right hip down to the ground and like fully release it. Okay, good. Roll your hips side to side. Okay. And then you're going to meet me in a forearm plank. Okay, so 2 long legs behind you, come into a forearm plank. Okay, hips in line with your shoulders. Okay, you're gonna dip your hips over to the left. So rotate your heels over to the left, and then heels come back to center, rotate your heels over to the right. So sometimes we do this where the heels are staying facing up towards the ceiling. This time I want you to actually rotate on your toes and send your heels side to side, but your shoulders are staying facing down to the ground. Good. Okay. We're not going to be in here for long. We just have this and a hold, and then we're off of our shoulders. Good. Okay. We're going to do 4. Keep breathing, keep engaging the core. Feel how the twist comes from the core. Good.
Yeah,
1 more each side. Keep breathing, keep pressing through the forearms. Good. Hold it center once you're even. Just hold for 8, 7, 6. Breathe. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the knees. Take a child's pose. I feel like I need to up my slipper game now. Maybe I'll get myself some boiled wool ones.
You do. Those are crucial.
Okay, well, you need to do a better job sharing the brand. Okay, come all the way up to stand. You're like, you must buy this brand of slippers that I don't know.
Sorry.
Okay, we're gonna come into a wide sumo squat. So bring your legs pretty wide. Feet are externally rotated, pointed to the front corners of the mat. Hands are gonna start on your hips, okay? And you're gonna go directly down into a squat. So bend at the knees, squat, and then come all the way back up. Good. All right. You might even want to take a slightly wider stance so that when you're in your squat, you end up where your knees are directly above your ankles. That'll feel more comfortable. Yeah, there you go. Good. So you're going directly up and down. We're not hinging forward at the chest yet, or the upper body yet, but we will in a second. Good. Okay. So you're going to feel some glutes because we're externally rotating at the hips. You're going to feel some inner thighs. Good. Yep. People also, when you're doing this, you might feel like some pressure on the arches of your feet, or like your feet are falling forward, and that way your knees are going to fall inward. So try to keep your glutes engaged to keep that external rotation so your knees don't fall forward. Good.
I'm feeling my glutes, inner thighs.
Yeah. Good. Okay. We're going to add on. Next time you come down, you're going to hold. You're going to send your butt back behind you as you send the chest forward. So you're finding a hinge at the hips. Okay. You're going to unhinge, come back to your stacked spine, and then straighten through both legs, come all the way up. Okay. So we're going to alternate now. You're going to go down. Good. Send the butt back, send the chest forward. Oof. Good. You're going to feel a big stretch through the back of the legs. This is the same thing here as what we were practicing when we were in our kneeling squat. So as you send the butt back and send the chest forward, you're trying not to tuck the pelvis. So you're keeping your neutral spine, you're stretching your butt back behind you, and you're still engaging through the core to support the back. Good. Okay. Let's do a few more.
This hinge is adding a bit of load to my quads also.
Yeah.
Because I think of the rotation of the legs. Oh.
I feel like we don't do this like a sumo hinge often.
Just thinking that we need to do more sumos.
Mm-hmm. especially with this, like the hinge forward, I think it's really nice.
It is. It's a really good opener for the hips
Yeah.
and getting into the rotators.
Yep.
I like it a lot.
Okay. Last one.
Good job, fritters.
Thank you very much. Okay, you're gonna come straight down into your squat and come into a pretty deep squat. Okay, and you're gonna hold. All right, you're gonna plant your right forearm onto your right thigh. Okay, so pretty deep side bend, and then take your left arm and reach it up and over the body to the left. Okay, and then you're gonna bring the arm back by your side, unside bend. Okay, and then you're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So you're gonna side bend over to the left, plant the forearm, reach the right arm up and over, okay? And then bring the arm back by your side. Okay, we're gonna keep alternating. So this is also a big challenge for the lower body because you're trying not to let the lower body move as you're doing this side bend. Good. So this is a big static hold. Good.
My inner thighs.
Yeah. Good. If you want to alternate and straighten through the legs between each side bend, you can also do that. Good. Okay.
Oh my God.
We're going to do one more each side after this. Good. Keep externally rotating.
Oof.
Good. One more each side. Good. Think about that up and over sensation. You're not crimping through the waist. You're going up and over.
Oh my God.
Good. Come back to center. And you're going to straighten through both legs. I'm going to give you a little break. Okay, last thing. You're going to come down into your squat one more time. And then you're going to send the butt back, hinge forward. So chest comes forward. Good. And then you're going to straighten through both arms so they're reached down towards the ground. Good. All right. Belly button up is going to rotate to the right. Your right arm is going to reach up towards the ceiling as your left arm reaches further down towards the ground. And then bring the right arm back to where it came from. Square the shoulders back. Good. All right, keep going. We're going to alternate sides. We're going to do 8 total. Good. So the challenge here is also not to let the hips shift around. So you're trying to isolate the lower half of the body. Good.
Oh my God.
Really nice.
Whew.
Okay, we're halfway there after this.
I'm hot.
Good. Okay.
Oh my God, my quads, my inner thighs, my obliques.
Keep engaging the core. We're almost there. This is the last thing you have.
Glutes.
Okay, one more each side. Feel how you can kind of create an oppositional reach between both arms as you twist. Okay, one more. Breathe.
Whew.
Good. Last one.
Oh my God.
And come back to center. Straighten the legs. Nice job.
Oh.
Okay, we're gonna take a little butterfly stretch and you're all done.
Wow. That's great.
Okay, bottoms
Loved
of your
it.
feet together. Okay, and then you can press your elbows into your knees and stretch your upper body forward. Okay.
Last thing on the slides is that they're crucial because you can easily wash them.
Oh, yeah. Wait, I need to know what your thoughts are on wearing slippers outdoors.
Huh?
Like, you know how people wear slippers as like a fashion statement? Either slides or like Ugg moccasins.
Yeah.
Not into it? That is a very American thing.
They're just indoors.
Okay, you're all done. Great job. Bye.